I don't know, oh, this is going to sound so cliche. I think our peers, some of them have never really gotten the whole activism thing, especially in terms of women's rights, because I've noticed these days, if you're a teenager and you think of yourself as a feminist, you're automatically thought of as a lesbian and a feminazi and sexist, and I'm not any of those things.
Our entire group of friends, after starting the Human Rights Coalition, all the guys were gay and all the girls were lesbians automatically. And we were considered such, even though the majority of us are in heterosexual relationships.
Yeah.
Now, how did, as far as the negative vibe that you guys got from everyone, well, not everyone, majority of people, how did that make you feel?
Stronger.
Yeah, it kind of made us want to do it more so we could prove to them that this is not what you think it is.
It feels like we just have a lot of work to do. I don't think we could convince them to actually come see it, but I think if they did, they would realize how wrong they were, because like one of the most powerful monologues in the whole piece is called Because He Liked to Look at It, and it's about a woman who only learned to love her vagina after like she realized how cool it was from her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And up to that point, she just was completely distanced from it. And I think that's actually a lot more common than people think, but people don't realize that.
Yeah.
I think
This was the same group of people who, when we started selling stickers at school, which has like just like the outline of the shape of a vagina like this, they told us that that looked nothing like a vagina, and we didn't know what we were talking about.
And they asked what the exclamation point was.
Yeah. The little exclamation point of the vagina.
Yeah. When they were talking about that, my locker happened to have one of the stickers on it, and they got really angry, saying that, well, because we were lesbians, we got to do whatever we want at school, and that
it's a really conservative prep school, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the reason we were the Human Rights Club is we weren't allowed to call ourselves a gay-straight alliance.
But then we realized that we don't limit ourselves in terms of what we don't. We want to sort of encompass all. The group is about acceptance.
It's just church folk.
We didn't want. We just wanted to be all encompassing, and you could be discriminated.
Yeah.
When they were talking about they got together and they were just like bashing it, saying that it was stupid and how their moms had all gone to see it and how their dads had made fun of them for going to go see it, and it just really kind of made me sad that they're so ignorant that they want to close their mind to it completely, and they don't want to understand women, that women are supposed to understand them and bow down to them. And it made me like really sad for them, because then they'll never understand women, and then they can never really coexist in a relationship.
I mean, if they had gone to see it, or if they had read it, and then they said they didn't like it because of this and this and this, like we could have had a discussion with them, and we could have maybe tried to see their point of view or tried to change their minds, but they're just so closed off to it, we couldn't even get into a discussion with them.
And all the people we're talking about are guys, but I would like to note that Brady is the best example. Brady and Jamie, who's not here, are both working with us, and they're amazing. They're both straight teenage males, and they're as accepting as anyone could hope for, and they're completely into it. As much as they're as passionate about it as we are. And
I don't want people to think that we're anti-men. I mean, like, I want men to get involved. My dad was kind of like, he was asking me, well, why it's basically guy bashing, and I was like, no, it's not like that at all. It's just supposed to, we're talking about it.
I think that's a problem. That's a problem with feminism today, is that in the past there have been plenty of feminists, so-called, who have been completely sexist, and they think that in order to be equal, they have to be anti-man, and that's just hypocritical, and we want to do away with that.
Okay, so Brady, let's hear from you. Why do you think this is important?
Well, Katie and Roxy got me into this, and I'm really against anything violent related. Like, I'm just extremely pessimist, or how do you say that? Yes. Yeah, I make up words sometimes.
No, that's a real word. It means you have a bad outlook.
No, well, I was changing it into a different word because I forgot the real word. But they just got me into it, and I really haven't been able to help with, like, I have all these beliefs, but I've never actually, like, gone to it and actually done something, and this was a good chance for me too.
Okay. What have you guys learned from the monologues that you do? What are you taking from this experience?
When I first read it, I cried because it was really great.
Which one are you doing?
I'm not doing the monologues since I am
She's doing the introductions.
I'm doing the introductions and I'm directing it. But it just, when I see all these people going up there and doing it, and being as young as they are and as talented as they are, it's really great.
When we had the auditions, we have a cast of 11 people, so not that many people showed up, which was a little disappointing, but the people who showed up were really, really excellent. Like, a lot of them didn't do theater at school or anything, but when they read the monologues, it was really powerful.
Yeah. And I'm doing Reclaiming Cunt and the Vagina Workshop. You sort of asked what we learned from our individual monologues. I thought the Vagina Workshop, I always thought was especially powerful in a way because you're talking about a woman who's afraid of her vagina, and I think that that's just a universal issue, that you're afraid to go down there, and then
You're not supposed to. It's a bad.
Yeah, and then she does discover it, but she's scared and she's panting and she's on her little mat and she's freaking out and she doesn't know what to do, but then she just relaxes and she just sort of realizes that it's a part of her and it is her, and I thought that's really powerful.
What about you, Sam? You're kind of quiet over there.
Well, I wasn't going to try out, but because I tried to get people to try it at my school, I had to get it approved by the principal to hang up the signs. Usually you just have to get it approved by a secretary, but the principal wanted to look at it and he had it for 5 days, and he finally said, I could put it up, but I couldn't. Usually people put up like hundreds of copies. I can only do 12. 12 copies, and then they all got ripped down anyway. So it was like, they were up, but not for very long. And I asked actors at our school to do it, and none of them would, because they're all like, that's stupid. We want to be real acting. That's not real acting. So I tried out, and I was mortified. I was scared, but I did it, and I'm doing the vagina happy fact and not so happy fact. And people think it's like anti-men and everything, but in the not so happy fact, it talks about genital mutilation, and it even talks about male mutilation as well. So it's not like we're saying that doesn't happen to them. It does, and
Just as bad.
yeah, it's just as bad. It's not.
Are you glad you auditioned, Sam?
Yeah.
We are.
We are.
So yeah, I did.
I have just one last question. Both Claire and I did this when we were in undergrad. And I looked at it as a whole, basically the voice of the voiceless. Like every piece, in my opinion, was that way. How, if you guys could summarize it in 3-4 words in a title, what would you say?
Oh my.
If you could, because that's what I looked at it as.
Voice of the voiceless is good. I don't know. That is a daunting question. I don't know. Toby, you're the most eloquent.
Very badass.
Well, I mean, it's grown into this like huge thing. Like,
Yeah.
like we were online looking at all the, even just the New York one.
Oh, I know.
Productions that are
Yeah.
going on.
That's amazing.
It's in Pakistan and like all these places you would never expect it to be, which is great.
Everywhere.
And like, I'm on the V-Day forum for the organizers to figure out things, and then there's one woman organizing in this little teeny tiny island in Alaska. Like, the island is only big enough to have a town on it, and she's doing it anyway. Like, she's asking for advice on how to do it, and I just thought it was really awesome, which doesn't actually have anything to do with your question.
Well, actually, I'll just give you one last question. What do you want people to walk away with? The people that actually do come to support this, to see it, what do you want them to walk away with?
I don't want them to think about stereotypes associated with women anymore. And I don't want them
Even if
to-
they just walk away with like, they think about it when they get out of there. They feel like, you know, when you get out of a really powerful movie and you don't know what to think just yet. You have to let it sit in and
Yeah.
think about it, and you want to sleep on it.
They can think a lot of different things because it's about women from all different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I didn't read all of it because I don't.
I want
I
the
think
public to become.
But even the ones from the audition, they were like, old Jewish woman who never really talked about it, and then there was the vagina workshop, and then the woman yelling about her vagina, and then the dominatrix one. So it was kind of they're all different.
I think I just want the audience to walk out of here with a more open mind.
I want them to know that anybody can be a feminist and not necessarily have to be anti-man about it, because
Or even a woman.
even a woman, because I think the best kind of feminism is when you're working to equality between the sexes. Like, I don't like patriarchy, but I don't like matriarchy either. I want everybody to be equal.
And I think that goes with everything. I mean, I don't want it just to be about like everybody not being sexist. No one should be racist, and I want everybody just to apply the things that they learn from the vagina monologues to everyday life. Everybody should have a voice. Nobody should be kept silent.